and lit up his first ciggy of the day. Paddy smoked a great deal in bed. He would often wake Peggy in the middle of the night with the sound of his match striking through the dark, providing a split second of bright illumination. "Give us a puff," Peggy would croak, without any need of the teeth soaking in a glass on the table next to her. Not waiting for nor expecting a reply, she would warily uncoil her arm from under the old grey army blanket and, cheating the cold air of any opportunity to penetrate the dark, smelly warmth beneath, grasp the wet-ended cigarette between her finger and thumb, put it to her lips, and draw deeply. "Ah, that's better," she would say. "Me nerves are shot, Paddy." And within seconds she would drift back to sleep. This morning the squall blew across the Mersey and up the 4 streets, soaking the men waiting for Paddy. They stood, huddled against the entry wall, trying in vain to protect their ciggies from the downpour. Paddy appeared through the gate, Peggy's words at his back pushing him out onto the cobbles. "You feckin' bastards. You'll get me hung one day, so you will," said Paddy, only half seriously to Tommy and the rest of the gang. "I was only joking, Paddy. I've seen a better face on a clock than on your missus," said Tommy. "I knew you was just stuffing your gob with another slice of toast." "Leave Peggy alone or I'll set her on you," joked Paddy. "She was kept in a cage till she was 5. You'll be sorry if I do." They all laughed, even Paddy. Tall Sean, a docker by day and a boxer by night, joined in as he struggled to light up. "Never fear, Paddy," he laughed. "You're a lucky man with your Peggy. Her titties are so feckin' big, you could hang me wet donkey jacket off them with a bottle of Guinness in each pocket, and it still wouldn't fall off." They roared with laughter, and with lots of matey reassuring pats on the back for Paddy, they continued on their way down the steps to face another day of hard graft on the river's edge. Boots on cobbles, minds on the match. From an upstairs window in the Priory, Daisy Quinn, Father James's housekeeper, studied the dockers marching down the steps towards the gate, just as she had done every single morning since she herself had arrived from Dublin during the war. In an hour, once she had cleared away the breakfast things, she would take her damp duster and move to another room, across the landing on the other side of the Priory, and look down on the mothers and children from Nelson Street as they walked in the opposite direction to that of the dockers, towards the school gates. The Victorian Priory, large, square and detached, stood next to the graveyard, and from each of the upstairs windows Daisy could alter her view of the docks, the graveyard, the school and the convent, or the 4 streets. Daisy had her own panoramic view of life as it happened. There wasn't very much about anyone or anything Daisy didn't know. They all turned up on the Priory steps at some time, for one reason or another. "Daisy, have you any coal to spare? We have none and the babby is freezing. Do you have any potatoes or bread? A coat for the child to go to school?" They were always wanting something, and sure enough, Father James could often solve the problem. They had cupboards in the Priory stuffed full of the clothes people donated for him to hand out to the poor. But the father never gave. Mothers had to ask. "I am here to do God's work, not the corporation's," he would often boom in a bad-tempered way when Daisy asked should he take a coat or a pair of shoes to a family after she had noticed the welfare officer knocking on their door. But pride never stood in the way of a mother needing to warm a child, so beg they often did. Occasionally, people came for happy reasons, to ask for the father to perform a christening or a wedding, and when that happened, the father would take them into his study, and Daisy would carry in a tray of tea and a plate of her homemade biscuits, just as Mrs. Malone had taught her. She almost always took back an empty plate. Hardly ever had Daisy returned a biscuit to the kitchen. If ever a mother was too polite or too scared to allow her children to take one, Daisy would press a few into her hand at the front door, wrapped in greaseproof paper and tied up with string. "Go on now, take it," she would say. "Have them for later." Daisy would have loved to have had children of her own. She had arrived in Liverpool from Dublin to take her position at the Priory whilst still a child. She became an assistant to the father's cook, Mrs. Malone, and like most young girls, she had a head full of dreams and plans.